Yeah, so something else that I see as artists begin to maneuver through different platforms and try to build a fan base is a lot of times it's hard for them to monetize that following. And as much information that's out there on how to do this stuff, sometimes it's still a bit of a challenge for that to happen just because you might be fully artistic brain and not that much there when it comes to business and generating revenue. But platforms like Patreon are there, and I believe they help kind of facilitate, that process and those transactions. But we've had some conversations offline about exactly what Patreon is, and for those who don't know, Patreon is a platform that you pretty much go to, and for whatever service you offer, people can sign up to or subscribe to pay you financially to continue to do those services for a summarized definition. But in our offline conversations, we talked about exactly what a paywall is and how paywalls are probably more beneficial in some circumstances for artists.
Sometimes, yeah.
And so, can you kind of talk about that a little bit, and what are your thoughts?
Yeah. So Patreon, all Patreon does for people, or Fiverr, or any of those websites, they're marketplaces. So anybody that has a service on Fiverr can just have their own website. But what Fiverr does is Fiverr builds its brand. Thus, Fiverr is putting marketing dollars into Fiverr's brand, and the people who are in the marketplace benefit off of their marketing dollars.
Yeah.
So you take less margin, less control of your business in favor of a marketplace marketing almost for you. So if you're on Amazon, right? Amazon builds its own brand, and they put a lot of money and technology and strategy into building their own brand.
Yeah.
So that's why people can go to Amazon and try to, think of ways to build their Amazon SEO up, get it to the top of search rankings for different products, and then they can benefit off of Amazon's brand name on Amazon. So it's not anything different across those concepts for anything we're talking about.
Yeah.
Whether that be Patreon or Fiverr or Amazon. That's pretty much what's happening. Now, some of those platforms want exclusivity whenever you upload to them. Like Fiverr wants exclusivity. That means you can't just use Fiverr's platform, take all Fiverr's customers, and then transfer them all over to your own website. So you have to be aware of that. So look at the terms and services when you're signing up for things like Patreon or Fiverr or Amazon or whatever you're signing up for. Because when you have your own website, you control like that customer journey.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to ask, Fiverr for different email opt-in forms and like all that other stuff.
Yeah.
So it takes more work when you have your own website, but you also get to benefit more because you're the one building that brand. It's not Fiverr putting in the marketing dollars; it's you putting in the marketing dollars. So you have to weigh the cost and benefit of all these things.
Yeah.
But the paywall, all the paywall is let's say you make a bunch of YouTube videos, but you want to have some exclusive content for people. That's all essentially a paywall is. So it's like if YouTube decided that they wanted to be Netflix before Netflix was, and they just had a paywall to get to the movies instead of Netflix having the business for that would have been a paywall.
Yeah.
So people know that they can get the content for free on YouTube, but hey, if I want all these other movies, it could have been like YouTube movies instead of Netflix.
Yeah.